Good evening, folks, and welcome to yet another episode of the Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show and brought to you by our major sponsor, The Gordon. My name's Tonchi Prusak, and it is indeed episode 23 of the fifth season, or if we're totaling it all up, episode 123, our 23rd episode this year, and we will see 25 episodes this year, thanks to the sponsorship of The Gordon, and prior to that, Euro Football Star. And yes, it is our third last episode for the year. And geez, I tell you what, the off-season is just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, because the season just seems to be getting all that longer. And we've still got a lot of football action left in 2023. And tonight, we're going to be covering quite a fair bit. Folks, we've got a huge selection of guests. We almost had a fourth guest as well, but we've got three guests on tonight. Or should I say we've got four guests on tonight. We almost had a fifth guest, and I'll explain very shortly what I mean by that. Our first guests for tonight come from the Geelong Galaxy United Football Club. We've got young 17-year-old LEISEL HUDDART, who was the captain of the under-17s, and she also made her senior debut this year in the VPLW team, the Geelong Galaxy's VPLW team. Will also be joined by her mother, ELISSA HUDDART, who was the vice president this year, and she's the newly appointed secretary of Geelong Galaxy. A lot's been happening at Galaxy, and over the weekend, both the presentation night, there was also an appearance at the Western United Cup up in Ballarat. We'll find out all about those things very shortly. Tomorrow night, folks, the season, I guess you could say, draws to a close officially with the Geelong Rangers under-14 boys Metro team. They will be playing their, grand final decider, if you like, tomorrow night at Myers Reserve under lights, and we'll be talking to their coach, Pete Bradley. They are on the verge of securing the grand final there with a game against the Brimbank Stallions. So we'll find out all about that and find out how they went over the weekend. Quite a few Geelong teams involved in various Football Victoria grand finals in Melbourne. So we'll be talking to Pete Bradley very shortly about that as well. We'll be joined by Anthony Banovac, the best and fairest winner for the North Geelong Warriors as well. He had a very consistent, very interesting season in the NPL Victoria competition this year. Unfortunately, the Warriors did get relegated, but for Anthony, it was a very triumphant season in many ways as well. And we'll be talking to him about the North Geelong Warriors season that was, but also they'll be travelling over to Adelaide this weekend for the big Australian-Croatian tournament in Adelaide. There'll be a senior team, the women's team as well, and we'll find out if there are any other teams as well that will be making the trek over to South Australia this weekend. We were hoping to get a fourth guest, but we will have that guest on next week's show. Due to unavailability, she was unable to come on tonight's show. We'll talk about who that is a little bit later on as well. So, folks, we've got a jam-packed show tonight, a massive, massive show. We're going to, like I said, thanks to the Gordon, we've been able to bring you this week's show. We've been able to bring 25 episodes of this show this year. And here's some words from our sponsor, the Gordon. You are watching the Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast. As I said in the intro, the football season, the 2023 season, still has a little bit of grunt left in it. There's been a lot of action over the weekend, end-of-season cups. We've had some end-of-season finals as well, and we'll find out all about that in the news desk. But let's start off with the Geelong Soccer Club girls under-12 team over the last week, the first week of the school holidays. They took part in the Nike FC Cup, the girls' Nike FC Cup. They did very, very well, in fact. They took out first prize in that competition. So well done to Geelong there, getting all the accolades there. But they also, on the weekend, took out first prize in the first prize. They won in the grand final when they took on Heidelberg United and defeated them 4-0. So a great result there for the Geelong under-12 girls. Well done to everyone involved with the Geelong under-12 girls. We also had the Geelong Rangers, the under-14s. We'll quickly go on to them. So the Geelong Rangers under-14s team, they are now into the grand final coming up this Wednesday. Tomorrow, they'll be taking on the Brimbank Stallions, who recorded a win over Glen Waverley, I believe, and Geelong Rangers also, Beau Morris, pardon me, and Geelong Rangers also defeated Beau Morris 4-0 over the weekend. Brimbank Stallions won 3-0. So basically, it's a round-robin fixture event, and now the decider is this Wednesday and up at Myers Reserve. Kickoff there is at 7 p.m, and we will talk a little bit about that with our guest for tonight, Pete Bradley. Pete will be joining us very, very shortly. But before we do get to those guests, we've got heaps and heaps of news to get through. Now, speaking of the Geelong Rangers, the under-12 Wallabies team, coached by Stuart Mallon, a big supporter of the show. Cheerio to Stewie if he's listening to this podcast. He's under-12 Metro Wallabies team up at the Geelong Rangers. They defeated Glen Waverley 4-1, I believe it was. And as a result, they took out the boys under-12 Wallabies Metro title. So congratulations to them as well. So a great result there. In the under-16 Metro girls, the grand final there, the Northwest grand final, it was an all-Geelong affair with North Geelong running out 6-3 winners over Bowen Soccer Club. And it was great to see the fact that there were two Geelong teams fighting it out in the grand final. So congratulations to Bowen for making it through to the grand final. Congratulations to North Geelong as well. And there was a big piece in today's Geelong Advertiser an article there by Matthew Fairest, and Warriors triumph in Metro Girls All Geelong Decider. So virtually an entire page dedicated to the under-16 girls Metro Grand Final. That was in the junior sports section of the Geelong Advertiser. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, do jump out to your local newsagents, your outlet, where you still can purchase a hard copy version of the Geelong Advertiser, or if you like, you can subscribe to the online version, the online edition. But congratulations once again to all of those teams that did so well over the course of the weekend. Now, late last week, Geelong Soccer Club announced that it had reappointed its junior technical director, Andy Alderton, to the same role for next year. Now, this is a massive, massive coup for the club. The club announced that the Geelong Soccer Club board is delighted to announce the reappointment of Andy Alderton to the role of technical director for our Metro and Junior Boys NPL teams. It is a big boost to the Geelong Soccer Club's junior teams, and we'll also be speaking to North Geelong Warriors Best and Fairest winner Anthony Banovac, and he will also be talking about the appointment of former coach Stuart Begg, former senior coach, to the role of Junior Boys NPL Technical Director at North Geelong. So just the same as with Geelong, the appointment of Stuart Begg at North Geelong as a technical director augurs well for the junior development of the region's best boys teams, that's for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. We'll be talking shortly with ELISSA HUDDART from Geelong Galaxy United and her daughter ELISSA HUDDART as well. And we'll also find out what's the latest happening there at Geelong Galaxy. But certainly from all accounts, 2024 is going to be a big year for junior development in the region. We've also got some late breaking news, which we may mention a bit later on. Well, it's yet to be confirmed, but there is some big news with regards to another academy-style organisation, not an organisation, but a program that is going to really benefit the development of some of the region's elite players, but in a different format. Speaking of a different format, let's turn our attention now to the Geelong futsal competition. There's some big news happening here. With next Monday, the summer season kicking off, the men's competition on the Monday, the men's competition on the Wednesday is completely chockers. Tuesday night, there's going to be a newly formed, if you like, men's competition, which is filling really quickly. And there's also a mixed league as well on a Tuesday night. There is a women's competition on a Thursday night, which I'm hearing is a little bit slow in the uptake. So, ladies, get yourselves organised, get your team together. The women's competition on a Thursday is at the moment a little bit shaky, but we need more women's teams. So there's been a lot of talk about, why wasn't there a women's competition? An expression of interest went out. Now we need the women futsal players in Geelong to really, basically put their money where their mouth is and to enter a team in the competition. There's also going to be an under-16 boys competition on Thursday nights. That's filling fast. Now, the big one is the Friday night. It is exclusively going to be under 14s. I do believe I've been speaking to the folk out at Geelong Futsal. There's talk of a 6-team girls under 14s league, and there's also talk of something like 15 to 20 boys under 14 teams at the moment. So that is really filling up fast. And then on Saturday morning, the juniors also is going to be close to capacity. So a lot happening there with regards to the futsal. The summer competition kicks off on Monday. So there is still time to register a team. All team registrations must be paid in full by Sunday, 1st of October. All players must have a valid Football Victoria membership to be eligible to play. Any questions, please contact admin@geelongfutsal.com.au or call 0455 199 909. So if you're thinking about getting a team together, not sure, or even if you're an individual player and you don't have a team, do contact the folk there at Futsal Geelong, or and that is that email again, admin@geelongfutsal.com.au or call them on 0455 199 909. So do get in really, really quickly, because once it kicks off, there won't be too much scope to enter a team, especially in those competitions which are already at capacity. Folks, that's the news desk. As I said, just does not seem to get any quieter in the off-season when soccer is concerned in this town. And this augurs well for what should be an absolute bumper 2024. Don't know about you, but I'm excited about next year, and this year hasn't even finished as far as the local football is concerned. But, how was your experience of the 2023 season? What would you like to see happen in the 2024 year? We do criticise Football Victoria quite a fair bit in the competitions department. We spoke about that in last week's show. But what would you like to see happen in 2024, whether it be at senior level, whether it be at junior level, in the metros, in the local competition? Have you heard what is happening next year? Is there any rumours? Pop it in the comments section, and the best comments we'll have a read throughout the show. We're going to take a very, very short break now, an advert break. And when we return, we will be talking women's football with Geelong Galaxy United Football Club, and we'll be speaking to the secretary, the newly appointed secretary, ELISSA HUDDART, and her daughter, who was the captain of this year's under-17s team and also became quite a focal member of the seniors team at just 17 years of age, LEISEL HUDDART. Folks, don't go away. It is the Game of Two Halves podcast.
Are you too busy running your own business to worry about your financials? Allow J Hill Books to focus on your books so you can focus on your core business. Based in Lara, Geelong, J Hill Books owner, operator and senior bookkeeper Judy Hill has always worked in finance administration. The world of cloud accounting, however, means that clients can be based anywhere within Australia. Currently, J Hill Books services clients from Lara, Geelong, the Bellarine Peninsula and Melbourne. You won't need to come home from working all day and start on paperwork. You can spend your time in other productive areas such as marketing or quoting, or even better, come home and switch off. You will know how your business is tracking as often as you need, whether that is on a weekly, monthly or quarterly basis. You can be satisfied that you are meeting your legal requirements to your staff and to the ATO. And deadlines will no longer be stressful for you. Let J Hill Books take the stress out of running a small business and allow you to enjoy watching your business go to the next level. For more information, visit our website at www.jhillbooks.com.au, or better yet, call us on 0402 469 243 or email us at info@jhillbooks.com.au.
Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And on tonight's show, we'll be speaking to Anthony Banovac, the 2023 Best and Fairest winner for the North Geelong Warriors Football Club in the NPL Victoria competition. We'll also be speaking to the coach of the Geelong Rangers FC Boys Under-14s Metro team, Pete Bradley. They have got their season decider, and, well, basically they will draw the curtain on the 2023 season, the outdoor season, that is, tomorrow night up at Myers Reserve at 7 p.m, and we'll hear all about that later on in the show. But that now brings us to our first guests for tonight, and it's an absolute pleasure to bring onto the screen our guests for tonight. Good evening. How are you to ELISSA and LEISEL HUDDART? How are you, ladies?
Well, thank you.
Good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Excited to have you both on the show tonight. First of all, ELISSA, well, congratulations. You were last year's vice president, or this year's vice president of Galaxy United. And now you've got I don't know, is it a promotion? Is it a relegation? How does it work? Now you're secretary, I guess.
I think we're all just part of a team. So you're contributing in a different way, as you would know. We have these people with roles with names on them, but really it's a group effort to get a soccer club running.
It is. And we talk to coaches, we often talk to the players, and sometimes the presidents, but it's the people, as you said, behind the scenes. There's a lot of work that goes on. And Galaxy seems to be a club that just seems to be growing in so many different ways. This year particularly, I guess, moving to Hume Reserve gave the club a real kind of a sense of identity, and you were able to have quite a fair few social events as well. So that's now sort of helped grow the community. That is the Galaxy community. How have you seen the last couple of years since the move to Hume Reserve?
Yeah, it's been really positive. It's been a really welcoming club for Galaxy to join them there. Really open to ideas. We had our presentation night seniors in conjunction with theirs. Things like live sites for the World Cup matches with the Matildas. People from both clubs, dinners after training. It's had a real buzz around the club, around our trainings. We've had people from Corio come to our games. You've got the extra interest in the Corio games. It's been really positive. Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll talk about the presentation night a little bit later on. But LEISEL, you were involved. Let's talk about you first of all. You captained the under-17s team this year, but you also played more than a dozen games, either starting or on the bench for the seniors this year. What was it like breaking into the seniors team this year?
It was quite exciting. Coming from under-17s to seniors, it was a very big jump. I found it very fun. Everyone on the seniors team was very welcoming and very encouraging of me, and they always knew that I could play to my best. I think being part of the seniors team, I was a very good coach this year, and so I had very good coaching to help me become more confident. So that was really good. Playing seniors, it's a bit like you're playing with a bit more experienced players. So the players that you're versing have like a better awareness of the game and more like tactical awareness. And yes, I noticed that a bit playing seniors a bit more and a lot more physical, very, very physical in the seniors.
Yep.
17s is still very physical, but I noticed seniors was very physical as well. But it was really enjoyable, very fun.
How did you find it initially, the physicality of it? Was it intimidating? And was it, how did you sort of get over that kind of early obstacle?
I didn't really find it intimidating because I'm quite physical myself.
Yeah.
So I was pretty physical back to them. So yeah, it didn't really bother me that much because I just be physical back.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great. Now on the weekend, you were involved in some football action up in Ballarat as part of the Western United Cup. Tell us how was that? Tell us how did you find that?
It's a very good tournament. It's a very good tournament. It's such a good vibe, very good atmosphere. It was a really good way to end the season. It was our team's last couple of games playing together for the end of the season. And that was really enjoyable. Our team, we had lots of very close games. We played Melbourne Victory and they were a pretty tough opponent, but we stood our ground and we played our best. And although we didn't get the win, it was a very minimal scoreline, and the scoreline doesn't really reflect the game. Even if you lose 2-0, you could be playing your best and you just were unlucky to not get goals. So it doesn't really reflect the goal, the game. But yeah, it was really fun and enjoyable. Yes, the under-14s were very successful. They were really good. So I think they made the semi-finals and they conceded 1 goal for the whole tournament, which was amazing. Wow. Very good team. And they had a lot of support. Our whole team went and watched them in their games. So that was really good. Just a good atmosphere. Yeah, good way to end the season, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of ending the season, now that's the case for players and for coaches, Elissa. But earlier today it was announced that John Deers, the senior coach, has been reappointed for next year. Now that's a major boost, isn't it? And the planning can already start for next year now.
Oh, absolutely. We're thrilled to have John reappointed. He's just hitting the ground running already. We're putting, the expressions of interest out for our seniors program, but he's really proactive, really got a plan, really keen as a club to be pushing at that NPL promotion to get back into that level where Galaxy has been before. So, yeah, really excited about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the expressions of interest before we talk about the presentation night that was held on the weekend. There's all the information there. So NPL girls trials will be on October 9th, 10th, 12th, 16th. 17th and 19th. So quite busy in October, that's for sure. And expressions of interest are already sought also for the senior team, and there's details there. How has there been much? Is it too early to say? But has there been much level of interest already?
It's been fantastic. It really has. I think off the back of the Women's World Cup, there's undeniable a flow-on effect to the expressions of interest for our juniors. That's been open for probably close to 4 weeks or so.
Yep.
And we've got really high expressions across all 3 age groups, which is really exciting. Really, we draw from the Geelong, all across the Geelong region, but we also draw from up to Ballarat and into the western suburbs of Melbourne. So, it's going to be competitive, which is exciting. Really looking forward to what comes out with the squads for next year.
Yeah, and with regards to particularly the sub juniors, the mini roos, if you like, obviously with sharing Hume Reserve there at Corio Soccer Club, and their juniors also growing at an extraordinary rate. Do you have some sort of a partnership with them as far as like girls coming up through the ranks through the mini roos and etc.?
Well, I think just having us sharing the venue and they see us train, and so they're able to see that. We've had some of our seniors players involved in coaching mini roos, Corio mini roos, which is a wonderful experience for our older players, terrific for the younger kids, and then they're more interested to come and see their coach play as well. So I think it happens inevitably when you're sharing and sharing the space and working together. There's no formal partnership at this point. So we're just continuing to share the space.
And continuing to certainly blossom from all accounts. Corio doing extraordinarily well in their juniors. We talked about that last week when it was the special local league finals edition, but also obviously Galaxy now, the social side of it, which we all know is so important for any club, but having that identity as well, that's a big thing. We'll put that expression of interest up again. So if there are any young girls, any young ladies interested in playing at the highest level, well, certainly this is the place to do so. And there we go. We've got so we'll leave that up there for a little bit while longer. There's a jot form there. Simply, if you go to the Geelong Galaxy Facebook page, you'll be able to find that link there as well. And you can also send a message or private message via the Facebook page, and you will be able to get all of those details. Now, on the weekend, the Geelong Galaxy had their presentation night, and let's go through some of the senior awards. Elissa, tell us more about who the winners were there.
Yeah, well, great to see our senior best and fairest there. Emily, she's actually a 17-year-old who played seniors this year and just had a wonderful season. She's actually a centre defender. So although
very solid.
Very solid.
Although we we had a real attacking style of play. I really loved watching the Galaxy seniors play all this year. It's good fun. Really enjoyable. It just shows the importance of the defence line as well in there and how highly rated they are.
Yeah, great to see Shian Roselli, who was also on this show several weeks ago. She was the runner-up. How good is that? So she did. Yeah. She had a great season as well, Shian.
Yeah. And she was actually one of our under-17 coaches this year. So also a wonderful crossover from our seniors to juniors.
Fantastic.
And for Liesl to have the experience of being coached, mentored, and then play alongside someone like Cheyenne was fantastic.
Yeah.
Where else? Where are we up there?
Reserves, onto the reserves now. Oh, actually, let's say seniors leading goal scorer. No surprise, Ayaseno. She was amazing. Yeah. And then we had the seniors coaches award, Maddie Faender.
No, Phoebe Vivian was the captain.
That's right. Yep.
Both Maddie and Phoebe were former juniors at Galaxy, and they've come through our junior program into the seniors. So that'd be, I think, her second year of aged out of 17s or third year. But so they're junior products as well, which is really great.
Let's go through the reserves, best and fairest, and the leading goal scorer and the coaches award.
Yeah, so Neve, again, a junior, her first year in the out of under 17s, I think, trying to get their ages right. So, again, a young player that's stepped into that reserves team. And same with Eliza, she's actually aged.
She's my age.
Yeah, she's 17 and is our goalkeeper primarily. And then the leading goal scorer there, Isabella, she played also in the under-17s team.
Wow.
And is actually a young 15 or 16-year-old, I would believe. I can't think of her exact age, but a youngster as well who's come through. And then the Reserves Coaches Award, Georgia, she's one of our under-15 team who put her hand up and said, I'd like to have a bit more play time. And made a commitment to the reserves and had a great year there. The development you see is amazing in there.
Yeah. It's fantastic to see a lot of young players getting that go. And LEISEL, I guess you're the product of that. Tell us a little bit about your footballing journey. I know you've played in the country championships, represented Geelong in years gone by. But how did you get into playing football firstly?
So I started playing football because of my older brother. He loved his football, and he would always just be kicking the ball around, so I'd always join him. And then I guess that just made me want to keep playing. I started playing at Drysdale Soccer Club locally, which I really enjoyed. But then I wanted to take a further step up into a higher league, and that's when I decided to go to Geelong Galaxy, which is a great decision. I've played at Galaxy for, I think this is my 5th year.
Yep.
We were a bit of affected by COVID, which was one of our good years. And then I was injured as well the year after. So really I've only had 3 years at Galaxy properly playing.
Yep.
And then, yes, seniors, I've just come into seniors this year. And
Now, is it your older brother that you attribute your aggressive skills, your aggressive ability, or is it someone else?
No, it's my brother. Always my brother.
Good old older brothers. They always help in that regard. That's for sure. That's fantastic. And now we will turn our attention now to the junior awards, ELISSA. Let's start off with the under 13s.
Yeah, our 13s had a great year this year. They ended up 5th on the ladder, just missed the finals. And when you look through their matches, all the teams above them on the ladder at the end, they either drew or beat during the season. They were a really strong group. And so you can see best and fairest there, Gemma Barand, runner-up, Eilish, and then the Golden Boot, Violet, and Coaches Award to Alia. So they had a great year.
And then we move along to the under 15s.
Yep, so best and fairest there, Willow, runner-up Mahi. She actually came from Corio across this year. And then the Golden Boot, Grace Dawson, and Coaches Award to Tess. They were a young outfit, really were, in the age groups, as it's a 2-year age group. So they were mostly pretty much all lower age. And they showed a huge amount of persistence and courage because it was a challenging season for them. But again, they showed up, did their best, and towards the end of the season got some really good results in.
Certainly augurs well for 2024, that's for sure. And LEISEL, you took out the best and fairest in the under 17s. Tell us about your teammates there that also were award winners.
I got best and fairest. Lily Dennis got runners up. She had a very good season. She was very strong in the midfield with me. We both played as the 2 number 6s. Very strong. She was a very reliable player. Steph, Golden Boot. Steph was just always in the right place at the right time. She's got a good strike on her, and you could always count on her to finish shots. Coaches Award goes to Gabby, who is the youngest player on our team. She's actually the age of an under 15s.
Oh, wow.
So she's quite young, but she's improved so much over this past season, and you could see the development from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. So she did deserve the award, and
That's fantastic. Yeah. That is absolutely fantastic. That really, really is good. Well, folks, we've been speaking to LEISEL and ELISSA HUDDART from Geelong Galaxy United FC. Look, I'm excited about next year. I think next year is going to be a big year. But from all accounts, just listening to you two, Geelong Galaxy certainly has a great future ahead of it. And it certainly next year looks like it's going to be a bumper year for football in general, but particularly women's football. And Galaxy is going to be at the forefront of it, no doubt. You guys already looking forward to 2024, or are you just glad that 2023 is over?
It all just sort of rolls on to the next season, doesn't it?
It's going to be a good season. I feel it.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've had a few new committee members. We're having a bit of a changeover with some roles, and there's a real energy around our new committee. So excited. to have people come on board and want to contribute as well. So
yeah, give them. Here's a chance to give them a bit of a shout out. Any new committee members that have been appointed to any roles?
Yeah, we have our new president, Amanda Galluccio, and our new vice president, Bert Verhoeven. They've been under 15s parents. So I think because we're a small club and we don't start until under 13s, we often take a little while. Parents get to know the place and then join. So we've got a real lot of our under 15s parents and under 13s who've said, yep, I've got the hang of what the club is. I'd like to contribute. So
that's excellent.
Really excited about that energy that they bring and the passion that they all have for women's football and the girls having a chance to play at this level.
Great to see. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on the Game of Two Halves podcast, ladies. Wish you all the best. Enjoy a little bit of a break that there is probably not too much of a break, no doubt. But nonetheless, all the very, very best for season 2024. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about you, Liesel, next year.
Thank you. Thanks
very
for having
much,
us.
Thank you.
Good on you. That was ELISSA and LEISEL HUDDART from the Geelong Galaxy United Football Club. We're going to take a very short break, folks. When we return, we'll be speaking to the coach of the Geelong Rangers Boys Metro Under-14s team. They've got a big, big game coming up tomorrow night under lights at Myers Reserve. And wouldn't it be fantastic to get a couple of 100 spectators there for a midweek football game under lights to officially draw the curtains on what has been a bumper 2023 season. We'll find out all about that when we speak to Pete Bradley after the break. Folks, don't go away. It is the Game of Two Halves podcast, proudly brought to you by our major season sponsor, The Gordon.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast. And on the weekend, the Geelong Rangers Under-14 boys team defeated Beaumaris 4-0 in the first game of the boys Under-14A Metropolitan Round Robin Finals tournament. Charlie Hutchison scored the opener to give the Gers a 1-0 lead at the break before Spencer Trickey scored a second-half hat-trick to secure the victory. The team will host Brimbank Stallions at Myers Reserve this Wednesday night, with the winner crowned the boys Under-14A's grand final champions. And to tell us about that game is the coach of the Under-14s Geelong Rangers boys team, Pete Bradley. Good evening, Pete. Welcome to the Game of Two Halves podcast. Great to have you on the show.
Hey, Tonchi. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having us along.
Yeah, mate, what a great win last week against Beaumaris. Fantastic win. You come up now against Brimbank Stallions. Now, the Brimbank Stallions did defeat Beaumaris 3-0. Was it in the midweek prior to that? So on form, you should win by 1-0 at least. Do you know much about this team, the Stallions?
Done a little bit of research. Look, they're obviously Brimbank are an NPL club, so their under-14s are predominantly a sort of under-13 development squad for that. So there'll be a few younger players in there. But look, they'll be good players, and yeah, they've obviously got that Juventus Academy up there at Brimbank. So they'll be a technical side. We know that for sure. Maybe younger, but they'll certainly be technical and well organised and well coached. So yeah, if only the pre-game results was a guarantee.
Yeah.
But, football, mate, that's not how it works. So.
But how good is it that midweek football? We all love midweek football under lights, and especially this time of year. Like how beautiful has the weather been the last few days? Expecting a nice weather conditions up there at Myers Reserve on tomorrow night?
Yeah, look, we had a look at the forecast. I think it's going to be 13 degrees, which is nice. No wind for Myers
No
Reserve.
wind.
No wind. So if you can believe that, then yeah, I don't believe that myself, but it's always windy up there, as we know. But look, 13 degrees and no wind should be a perfect night for football. And look, I think the boys are our boys are really excited to play under lights. I think it's as a kid, you remember playing under lights. It's something a bit different that you don't normally do. So to play a game under lights is one thing, but to play a final, it will be fantastic. And hopefully with school holidays and nothing else going on and training finished, we can get a few up there to watch, come up and enjoy just a game of football. And yeah, the boys having a run out and trying to play good stuff. Everything's set up for a good night, really.
No doubt there will be quite a decent sized crowd, probably a bumper crowd, dare I say. Is that going to work in your boys' favour? Are they going to get nervous, or is that going to kind of put the other team off? What's your gut feeling tell you?
Who knows? Under 14 boys, right? Who knows what you're going to get? So look, I think the home advantage. Yeah, look, they're familiar with the surroundings. Who knows? But just the fact that we don't have to travel. I mean, the game was originally going to be at Knox at 6:30, which was just ridiculous from a team from the north and a team from Geelong to try and play at Knox 6:30 on a Wednesday night. So look, a bit of common sense prevailed with Brimbank agreeing to play at our place. We offered to play there, but their lights were unfortunately not up to standard. So Myers Reserve is there. It's our ground. It's available. So a little bit of common sense brought it down there. Look, it was never planned to be there, but look, we're fortunate to be there. And Seamus and Russell have done a good job with the pitch. Yeah. Lynn and Tim are all set up in the canteen. So look, it's going to be a good Rangers night. Everybody's in place, and all the main players will be there. So look, it'd be a great way. Like you say, it'd be a great way to finish the season off.
Will they be playing on pitch one, or they'll be?
Yeah, it's on pitch one.
Pitch on one. So there you go. Canteen's open. It's on pitch one. Floodlights. Midweek football. I tell you what, that's an absolute must to get up there, and the weather conditions are going to be fantastic, mate. You've taken this team now. They've been together for a few years. Last year they won the under 13Bs competition undefeated. Done exceptionally well this year as well. How have you found the overall standard of football, junior football in the metropolitan competitions in Melbourne?
Yeah, look, it's certainly a step up from the 13Bs that we played last year, so 14As. Obviously, with 14s, a lot of the bigger clubs put their NPL teams in. Obviously, we're not an NPL team, so we can only play to the highest level that's available to us, which is 14 Metro A at the moment. So certainly a step up. Look, there was 7 or 8 competitive teams definitely in the league. It was a big league in the West. We had 12 teams. So apart from the real sort of bottom 2 or 3, every game was a challenge, and certainly a different challenge. Again, going to the bigger pitch this year was also something the boys had to cope with. So there was plenty of challenges out there aside from the teams that we had to play. But what we found is the likes of Altona City. There's a lot of teams in our situation which are not NPL teams. So Altona City, Albion Rovers, who else we got in there? Sydenham. Those guys are all in the same situation. So they were the best under 14 players all trying to be, competitive in that league. And then obviously you've got your NPL teams like St Albans, Altona Magic and Caroline Springs, who are sort of developing these younger sides. So look, each game was a challenge in its own set. But yeah, overall it was a step up. Look, we can only play where we can, right? So we've had discussions at the club about the newly formed Junior Premier League.
Yep.
But look, as with that, the stipulations and there's rules within that competition where you have to have a team at every age group.
Yep.
And we just don't think at this moment in time we're quite there yet. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a plan in place. We're our second year. This was our first year of a 5-year junior plan, as people know. So
yeah, and how is that progressing? Sorry to cut you off, but are you on track? Are you ahead of schedule as far as what you wanted to implement with that 5-year plan?
Look, I think we're slightly ahead of schedule, and I know you guys spoke with the Galaxy guys as well about expressions for next year. Yep. We opened up our expressions for 2024, and it's just been crazy. We're sort of almost bursting the seams already. So with mini roos and juniors for Metro and community. So look, it's going to be a massive year next year. We're hoping to put more teams in and different. And the idea is, look, we want to try and provide football for every kid that we can, regardless of level, ability, or whatever. So if we can find them a place at Rangers, that's definitely what we want to do. So.
Now, Pete, you've had a long and illustrious career coaching at local level. You've obviously been in your previous life involved with Go FC football coaching, looked after the country rep teams and what you're not. So you certainly know what you're talking about with regards to coaching. Now, this year you had that transitionary year from 9v9 to 11v11 with the junior boys going from the 13s to the 14s. And there's been a lot of discussion about that. Is this the right age at under 14 level to go full pitch? Should it be moved to under 13, playing full pitch? Well, what was your feelings? Because obviously you mentioned there was a lot of under 13 kids or teams playing up an age group in your division. So I'm really interested to find out your take on the whole 9v9 versus the 11v11 concept. Have we got it right? Has Football Victoria got it right? Or should there be a little bit of tinkering to this?
Good question. Look, I think it's very close. Look, it is really close. Almost to the point where the under 13 competition, the 9v9 half pitch is too small. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to be box to box minimum. So, for example, what we do at Rangers, we set up pitch 2 to actually be a box to box pitch, almost at full dimensions for that 9v9 age group. And that definitely makes a difference. So as regards pitch size, I think, that box to box is definitely something they need to do. I still think the keepers is an issue. Obviously, we go from, the under 13 keepers, put them into a full size goal and it's too big.
Yeah.
So I think, the goal size, you can argue the case with the players, it's hard, but certainly pitch dimensions, box to box with the smaller goals is certainly something worth considering. But it comes down then to, clubs with, are they able to mark pitches out? Can they use, we basically give up pitch 2 to be one pitch, whereas other pitch, you go across, you can almost get those 2 pitches on. So it's resources, it's ground facilities and stuff like that. But I think an under 13s definitely needs to be box to box because those kids are almost outgrowing that size of the pitch. But keep the smaller goals would be the perfect scenario for me.
That's an interesting point, and we appreciate that. But mate, tomorrow night, all roads lead to Myers Reserve, folks. Let's get out there. Let's support the boys as much as possible. It's going to be a great game. Geelong Rangers taking on Brimbank Stallions. The question is it sort of goal difference after this? So, like, if it was a draw, does that mean that Rangers win by virtue of a better goal difference? Or is it
no, I wish, because that would give us a little bit more advantage. But no, it's I'm not sure why, but the format for the round robin finals is there's no draws. So with the round robin, if this game tomorrow goes to a draw, it'll go straight to penalties, not even extra time.
Right.
So it'll be decided by penalties. So.
Of course. Well, there you go. The pressure's on to get it all in the and by the way, 14s they played, was it 2 30-minute halves or 35-minute halves?
2 30s.
2 30-minute halves, just like they do in the under 12s and under 13 competition. Pete, all the very best to you and to the boys. Any last words you'd like to say either to the boys? I'm sure they're watching this, or to their parents, or to the Geelong football community in general.
Look, for the boys, go to bed. You got a big game tomorrow. But no, obviously, look, really proud of what they've done. Spencer Tricky, 44 goals in 22 games is something, something special. But as a team, they've just been fantastic. Like we said, we had the presentation the other week, similar to everybody else. And all the club came together. And look, it is a club thing. It is, we're trying to put these teams together and coaches together and groups together to try and develop the game and promote football in the region, which is definitely going in the right way. And look, I think there's a place for every club that work together. But the more we work together and the more we offer all these different levels of football, whether it be NPL or whether it be the GRFC or Metro in between. There's definitely a place there for everybody, I think. We've just got to work through it and get there together. But yeah, tomorrow night, if you've got a spare night, come along to Rangers. Canteen's open, the bar's open after the game, obviously, and yeah.
There we go. 7 p.m. kickoff. Myers Reserve, pitch 1. It's the main pitch there. The weather gods are set to be very kind to us and are suggesting that there will be no wind, unlike the Geelong Region Women's Division 1 Grand Final last weekend, which was marred by very, very windy conditions. And we saw that in last week's show, the highlights there. Just it was incredible. But that should be an absolute spectacle. Pete, wishing you all the very best, and to the boys there as well. And let's hope we can have another Geelong team claim first prize in the grand final of the Metropolitan Junior competitions.
No, thanks, Tonji.
Good on you. Pete Bradley, the coach of the Geelong Rangers under-14 Metros boys team. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we return, we'll be speaking to the best and fairest for 2023 at the North Geelong Warriors in the NPL Victoria competition, Anthony Banovat. He'll be joining us shortly after that. He and his teammates have got a big tournament happening on this weekend. They're travelling all the way to Adelaide, to South Australia. We'll find out all about that after this break. It is the game of two halves, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show and brought to you by a major sponsor, the Gordon. Don't go away, folks.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast, and it's time for our final guest for tonight. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Anthony Banovat from the North Geelong Warriors Football Club. Anthony, welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, Tonchi. Good evening to you, and good evening to all your viewers.
Mate, first of all, congratulations. Last week it was the North Geelong Warriors presentation night, and you were the recipient of the best and fairest. So congratulations. How was it taking out the accolade for the best player this year at the Warriors?
Yeah, thanks, Tonchi. I think I mentioned on the nights, it's definitely bittersweet. I think it's always difficult to collect an individual award in a season where the team did not achieve our objective, which was to stay in the division.
Yeah.
So certainly mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, no doubt it was. And look, unfortunately, you're relegated this year. Although there is talk that North Geelong could be saved by the National Second Division. There's talk that will be up and running by next March, and that could provide clubs that have been relegated some form of safety, if you like. Have you heard anything about that? Has there been talk about the National Second Division and what implications it may have on the Warriors?
I think the second division, as with anything in Australian football, moves at snail's pace. I think it was initially announced it was supposed to start in 2018, and we're in 2023. So, no, I haven't heard anything. And if I had to take a guess, my guess would be that it does not begin in 2024. So at this stage, we're just going off what we know for sure. And what we know for sure at this stage is that we'll be competing in NPL 2, and that's where our preparations are. If things change, obviously we'll adjust and we'll prepare for it as and when we find out. But yeah, nothing on my end at this stage.
Yeah, so the preparations obviously have started for next season already with the recent appointments of Joey Diddle. It's a club legend as the club's coach for next season. Aaron Bailey as well, another behind-the-scenes appointment, who was heavily involved with running the junior Metro competitions this year and involved the junior NPL. But he's now the senior football operations. And Stuart Begg makes a welcome return as Joey's assistant, along with Sean Mann. But he's got now an added role of being the club's junior technical director. That is a massive, massive boost for all the talented young players at Alco Park, Anthony.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Tonchi. I think if I can just speak to Begsy on a personal level, I'm kind of overjoyed that he's back. Number one in the senior team environment as an assistant coach and also as a technical director at the club. Through his time at the club, he's earned so much respect from everyone that's worked with him. I was recently at the junior presentation night, and some of the coaches there that have worked with Stuart in the past spoke glowingly about the contribution he's made to their development. So yeah, obviously having him around is a huge thing for the senior playing group, but also for the coaches and juniors, as you mentioned as well.
And Sean Mann as well, like he was the under-21s coach this year, but he's also works with Joey at Western Heights Secondary College in the soccer department. So, and he's been now there for a couple of years, and he'd really be a vital cog of that senior management team as well. So it augurs well for the junior development of some of the club's brightest young prospects, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think, Tonchi, if you look at so Stuart being appointed into the senior assistant coach role, Sean joining him from the under-21s, and Joey also taking up the senior head coach role, they're all internal appointments while Stuart's kind of coming back. But look, I think the reality is we'll have a very significant turnover of players in the senior squad. It's just the reality of kind of, attrition in the senior playing squad, and also the reality of getting relegated. Yeah. But something that really gives me a lot of confidence going forward is the fact that there's a lot of stability within the structures at the club, and that's reflected within these recent appointments. So that gives me a lot of confidence going into next year.
Yeah. Now, speaking of next year, you must be really excited in a way that, look, if you can't obviously be in the NPL Victoria competition, but if you look at some of the teams you'll be coming up against in NPL 2, Caroline Springs, George Cross, Preston Lions, Bentley Greens, they'll be there as well. The Bulleen, I think FC Bulleen as well. There's a lot of big clubs there. Some massive, massive clubs. Kingston City, I think, is another one as well. It's going to be a great, great competition to be a part of, isn't it?
No, absolutely. Look, I'd be lying if I said I'm looking forward to NPL 2 more than NPL. NPL is where we want to be, both in the short and long term of the football club. And I think while this season we fell short, I think that is where we need to be striving to be, and that is where we will get to. I have full confidence that is where we will get to. But I think NPL 2 this year was a fantastic league. Speaking to a few of my friends that play in that league, they were just kind of telling me how chaotic it was. Top sides losing to bottom sides losing to top sides. I think the teams that finished 3rd to 5th at one stage the season that we got promoted, were the bottom 3 at one stage of the season. So, it kind of speaks to the fact that it'll be incredibly competitive next year. Like you said, you got Preston in there. You've got really ambitious clubs in there. So, we've got a big pre-season ahead of us and a big job to do to make sure that we're competitive in that league and pushing.
Including the 3 A-League Academy sides, Western United, Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. Can't forget them. So it is going to be a cutthroat league, that's for sure. But Speaking of cutthroat competition, on the weekend, a cutthroat competition of a different sort awaits you. It's the Australian-Croatian soccer tournament in Adelaide, and that kicks off this weekend. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. This Thursday all the way through to Sunday. Adelaide Croatia Raiders hosting it. Now, I guess one of the things that are interesting about this was one of the venues for the Women's World Cup, and the Chinese national team made the Adelaide Croatian Sports Centre their base. So the facility is going to be second to none. The surface is going to be absolute world class. But these tournaments are always massive events, and this year, for those who follow the Auscrow Soccer Show podcast, our sister podcast, know that a lot of the Australian Croatian clubs had a very, very good season this year. There's going to be a lot of celebrating on and off the field in Adelaide this weekend.
The tournament's a fantastic time, Tonchi. This will probably be, I think, maybe my 9th or 10th one that I'm attending. Obviously, made a lot of friends all around the country, and and even outside of the country, New Zealand, Canada, Germany, United States. So look, even just being able to reconnect with those people that we don't get to see too often is something I'm really looking forward to. From a football side of things, I think you'll tell by my background. I'm at training tonight. We've just finished up. We've had our last session before. We will head across. We'll head across with a very, very young team. Maybe I think a handful of senior players that we're taking across, and the rest will be under 21s and under 18 players. Look, a fantastic opportunity for some of the young boys to experience some senior football as well. In terms of targets, it's a little bit difficult to say. I think we're just going there with an open mind and seeing where that takes us.
Fantastic. Well, mate, we wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining us on the Game of Two Halves podcast throughout the year as well. And we're wishing you and the North Geelong Warriors all the best for 2024.
Thanks so much very much. Appreciate it. Take care.
Good on you, Anthony Banovas. He was the best and fairest winner of the at the North Geelong Warriors this year. Folks, we're going to take a very short break, and when we can return, it'll be time to wrap things up here on the Game of Two Halves podcast. Don't go away.
Are you too busy running your own business to worry about your financials? Allow J Hill Books to focus on your books so you can focus on your core business. Based in Lara, Geelong, J Hill Books owner, operator and senior bookkeeper Judy Hill has always worked in finance administration. The world of cloud accounting, however, means that clients can be based anywhere within Australia. Currently, J Hill Books services clients from Lara, Geelong, the Bellarine Peninsula and Melbourne. You won't need to come home from working all day and start on paperwork. You can spend your time in other productive areas such as marketing or quoting, or even better, come home and switch off. You will know how your business is tracking as often as you need, whether that is on a weekly, monthly or quarterly basis. You can be satisfied that you are meeting your legal requirements to your staff and to the ATO. And deadlines will no longer be stressful for you. Let J Hill Books take the stress out of running a small business and allow you to enjoy watching your business go to the next level. For more information, visit our website at www.jhillbooks.com.au, or better yet, call us on 0402 469 243 or email us at info@jhillbooks.com.au.
Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast, folks. It is time to say goodnight, but before we do that, just a quick reminder about tomorrow night's massive game. It might be an under-14s game, it might be an under-14s grand final, but it is the last game officially of the 2023 season. So what better way than to see out this 2023 season than popping up to Myers Reserve tomorrow night, 7 p.m. kickoff. Geelong Rangers under-14 Metro boys team taking on Brimbank Stallions in the grand final, basically the grand final decider. The winner of that will be crowned the under-14A's Metro champion. Big news over the next few days with regards to Geelong futsal. Stay tuned for more information about that. There will be in term for a Geelong Futsal Academy being formed, and expressions of interest are going out very shortly. We hope to have someone from Geelong Futsal joining us in next week's show, penultimate episode of the Game of Two Halves podcast. We will also be speaking to Bianca Juresco, who is the secretary of the Geelong Soccer Club. A lot has been happening over the last couple of weeks off the field, and they recently had their 65th anniversary ball. Bianca was unable to come tonight, appear on tonight's show due to business commitments, but she will be a special guest on next week's show to talk about that and all things Geelong Soccer Club. And we will also have some more guests on next week's show, that's for sure. Stay tuned for that next Monday night as we return to our normal time slot. Until then, good night and have a great, great week. And hopefully for the parents, you can survive this final week of the school holidays before everything goes back to a hectic normality next Monday. From me and everyone here at the Game of Two Halves podcast, good night.